Hi, I'm real estate attorney Kevin Plotkin, managing attorney of Express Title Services. We're here today with part 2 of our video series, which is a follow-up to our first installment, which was the top 3 things you should know when selecting a title company. We had a lot of feedback from our last installment. One of the top 3 things that we discussed was making sure that you're hiring an attorney-owned and operated title company that has the expertise to identify all the issues that could be wrong with a property before you close and purchase the property. That way we're making sure to clear them off and fix them so that you get a clean slate and you don't have any of those issues existing on your property. So some of the feedback we got from everybody was, well, what are these issues? What do you look for in a property when you're vetting it and making sure that it's clean and clear for me to buy? So that's what we're going to discuss today here. The first thing we're going to do is a title search. A title search checks the public records of the county where the property is located to see if there's been any clouds on title recorded in those public records. So a cloud on title is an interest from a third party besides the seller, someone who's not the seller, who has claimed an interest in the property that the seller is selling that we want to know about, and we want to make sure that that claim of interest in the property is removed and cleared off before the ultimate buyer purchases it. So anytime there's a claim from a third party of an interest in a piece of real estate, the way that we put the world is put on notice of that claim of interest is the public records of the county where the property is located, where that claim from a third party would be recorded. So the most common cloud on title that we see when we check the public records is a mortgage. Anytime somebody has a mortgage from a property, it's recorded in the public records. Our title search reveals that. It shows us that there's a mortgage, and that signals to us that that seller needs to pay that mortgage off in order to clear that claim of interest off of the property before the title can be, in order for the title to be cleared and before the buyer purchases the property. So other common forms of claims of interests that we see when we check the public records other than mortgages are liens on property from a third party other than the seller. For example, a contractor was hired by the seller to do work on the property. The seller did not pay the contractor. Now the contractor puts a lien on the property, which is claiming their interest in the property in the amount that they were owed for the work that they did in order to get paid. So in order for the seller to sell that property and have clear title, that contractor needs to be paid off before we can close on the property. So a title search is going to show us any, again, mortgages, liens, or judgments that the seller may have against it, or any type of other claim of interest in the property from a third party that we want to make sure we know about and we want to make sure are cleared off the property before you, the end buyer, purchases it. What other ways are we going to vet the property? Well, we're also going to do, besides from checking the public records, we're going to do an inquiry directly with the municipality or the city where the property is located. So cities have lien rights in these types of issues. In other words, if you don't pay your utility bill and there's a balance that has accrued, the city can record a lien against the property in the public records to secure their collection of that accrued balance. However, these balances may have been accruing with the city, but the city may have not recorded a lien yet. So a title search won't show us that. We have to inquire directly with the municipality to see if those balances have been accruing. That's our municipal lien search. And if there's issues that a municipality has that they have not recorded a lien yet, well, that's okay. We're going to do a direct inquiry with them, and we're going to find out any of those issues so we can clear them off. Another way we're going to vet the property is we're going to do a boundary survey of the property. So a boundary survey is going to tell us if the property is encroaching on another's or vice versa. For example, if the seller of your property built a fence on the property and that fence is actually over the property line and onto the neighbor's property, well, then that's an issue, right? Because we're going to want to know about that. You don't want to buy a property and then a few months later you get a knock on your door from the neighbor saying, hey, you have to tear down that fence because it's 3 feet into my property. So a survey is also going to tell us if there's any easements on the property. An easement is a third party's right to access a certain part of the property. So if there was a third party out there who has a legal right to access a part of your property, a survey is going to tell us that, and it's definitely information that we would want to know prior to purchasing a property. So The three main ways we are going to vet a property is going to be a title search, where we search the public records to find if there's any clouds on title. We're going to do a direct inquiry with the municipality where the property is located to see if there's any outstanding balances that may have accrued with the city, which the city could legally record a lien against the property for, but has not done so yet. And even though they haven't done so yet, we'd still want to know about it and make sure that those balances are paid off prior to closing so the end buyer gets a clean slate. We're also going to do a boundary survey, which is going to check if our property is encroaching on the neighboring property or vice versa, or if there's any easements such as another third party's legal right to access the property that we'd want to know about. I'm Kevin Plotkin, Managing Attorney of Express Title Services, and we look forward to working with you, and we look forward to seeing you on our next video installment. Thank you.